Both fighters touch them up, return to their corners here for the first round of 6. It's the pro debut of Jake Daoust as he takes on Jose Medina. Medina, familiar face. He fought Sukhdeep Singh Chakria, who we'll be seeing shortly right here in Ontario a couple years back. He lost a 4-round unanimous decision, but he made it through that fight. Second time fighting outside of Mexico here. Daoust looking pretty composed here. Showing some nice quick hands. Has a little bit of nervous energy, I think, Steve.
Absolutely. He seems a little tense, a little tight. And Medina's, like we said, he's a guy who's been here before. He has experience. He's definitely not coming here to lay down. He's not one of those guys who's coming here for a paycheck.
Nice body shot from Jake Daoust.
Jake's just got to calm down, pump that jab, accept the fact that he's fighting here in his pro debut, not let it overwhelm him, and then he'll start to find his groove slowly but surely. And some good body shots there, but you see him rush in.
You can describe Jake as an all-around fighter. He does a little bit of everything. Sometimes likes to get inside there and scrap. Sometimes he's a stick and move type of boxer. Medina, for his part, he told me he's an all-pressure, never stop coming forward, never stop throwing punches fighter, but he may have changed his mind, like that great quote from Mike Tyson. Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
And absolutely, the speed of Jake here is just blinding compared to Medina. It's going to be tough for Medina to move forward and come forward with a guy who's got a great boxing pedigree, as Jake Daoust does. Speaking of great pedigree, 1998 Commonwealth Games gold medalist Mark Simmons, the third man in the ring tonight.
This is a night full of amateur pedigree because we already had Tanya Walters, former Canadian national champion. We have Jake Daoust in there right now, 4-time national champion. Then we've got Shavar Henry and Brock Stump, both national champs. Mark Smither on the provincial level, so a lot of skill out here.
It's good to see homegrown guys move on to the next level of their life and try to turn pro. Some good body shots there by Jake Daoust, and that's what's going to be the big thing here for tonight. We know as Ontario guys or Canadian guys, when you fight a Mexican, you work that body, especially early.
Daoust looking more comfortable in there here towards the end of round number 1. It looks like he shook off some of those nerves.
Seems to be smoothing a little bit smoother, pumping that jab, waiting for that counter right hand over Medina's lazy jab.
Medina lands a little body shot of his own, trying to find a way to get inside on Jake. Jake controlling the distance nicely.
It's going to be tough. Jake's got great footwork, great amateur pedigree. It's going to be tough for Medina to get inside.
Good first round under his belt for Jake Daoust. First round as a professional here at the CAA Center in Brampton, Ontario.
Former Olympian Dwight Fraser in the corner of Jake Daoust. Dwight's been around the game for a long, long time. Represented Canada or Jamaica in the Olympics, but I know he's been in the Olympic Games. Had a lot of great fighters over his career as a trainer. And now he's in the corner of pro debuting Jake Daoust.
Yeah, Jake Daoust started his boxing career over at Primetime with the one and only Brian Mackey. Training with DeWitt now, back over in Orangeville once in a while. Now it looks like Medina is going to have to find a way to actually get inside on Jake, and that's not an easy task, Steve. What's he going to do here?
He's got to go for broke. He's got to try to catch Jake coming in. He doesn't have near the footwork or boxing ability that Jake does. His chances, he's got to time him when Jake's coming in or catch him coming with a lazy jab and wing that overhand right. He's not smart enough nor skilled enough to try to stand there and box with Jake.
Daoust looking to mix it up here a lot more in round number 2. He's comfortable. Looks like he's warmed up, letting his hands go, throwing some nice combinations here to start off round number 2. Daoust, of course, in the black and orange. Medina in the blue trimmed with gold.
A little more patience this round from Jake, which is nice to see. Setting that jab up, waiting for the opening. When the first round, he just came out blasting. He seems to really be taking his time and thinking here. Beautiful jabs.
Medina had trouble making weight Tried on a second attempt, was still a little bit over, but within the Ontario limits. Had to lose a little bit of his perch, which I'm sure hurts coming out here from Mexico. You could see looking a little soft here.
A little soft and a little slow. The speed is definitely the biggest difference in the fight, aside from boxing skill, which Jake has a lot more of. But the speed is just night and day, and that's making it very easy for Jake.
Medina's never been stopped in his 4 losses. As we mentioned, both of his victories coming by way of knockout. He's a durable guy. Lasted the 6 rounds with Sukhdeep Singh Chakria, who blew out his last opponent here in the ring. Daoust looking calm and poised.
He's fighting at a good pace. We're only in the 2nd round of a 6-round fight in a pro debut. So for me, he's boxing well, chopping the body, working that jab.
You know, Don McDonald of United Promotions was very excited about this kid and looking to sign him here. We hope to see him in the ring in Brampton as a regular feature, added to such young talent as Sukhdeep Singh Chakria, Brock Stumpf, Mark Smither.
And Medina's a durable guy, as you explained earlier, and a nice overhand right from Medina there.
Abraham came alive a little bit there. 25 seconds to go here in round number 2.
So as I was saying earlier, Jay, Medina's never been stopped. I don't think it's going to be the worst thing for the start of Jake's career if he goes to get 6 good rounds in with a quality Mexican. That's going to build him and only make him grow. If he goes out here and blows a guy in the 1st round, that's 0 experience and false confidence. So I think the quality of rounds that he's going to get here tonight is going to benefit his career.
This is something that both Don and Tyler have been looking to do with their prospects, is get them some real competition, at least wherever you can. You look at a guy like Mark Smither, baptism by fire in his 1st fight, very tough opponent. Second
his
fight,
2 and 2nd and 3rd were all tough
very
fights.
tough again. And I was talking to Mark on the phone this week, and he was saying, you know, I really want to get that knockout this time. I said, listen, it's fine to go out there and blow guys out for your first 12 fights. You're getting absolutely nothing out of it. Already he's at something like 16 rounds with only 3 fights. Same thing here. If he goes 6, I have no problem with that.
Absolutely, and if you look back, not to talk about myself, you look back at my career, I went the distance a lot compared to some guys who fought in Montreal and got easy fights and blew guys out early, and then it was time for them to step up. They didn't have that experience and that knowledge and that ring generalship to deal with the high-level fights because they didn't have the rounds behind them.
Daoust coming out throwing big shots here at the start of round number 3. Daoust from a fighting family, Steve. Both his grandfather and great-grandfather were pro fighters. His great-grandfather sparred Sugar Ray Robinson.
Top 3 greatest of all time fighters. Not many can say that.
Definitely on the Mount Rushmore, my friend. Nice combination as he has Medina up against the ropes.
I like the body work from a guy who's only in his 1st pro fight. He's digging to the body early. That's a very, very smart thing as a professional boxer, and especially when you're fighting a durable Mexican who you know can take those headshots.
Jake Daoust told me that his best shot is his liver shot. We haven't really seen him employ any devastating body work yet, but it looks like he's getting more and more comfortable throwing downstairs. There we go.
2 body shots.
Beautiful. He hurt Medina with those. He hurt Medina with those body shots. You could see him shelling up a little bit more here.
And I say that's the thing to do against a Mexican fighter, but I'll tell you this, Jason, as being a fighter myself, That's the thing to do against any fighter. Nobody likes getting hit with a hard, clean body shot. They'd rather take it to the face. So I always recommend to young fighters that I train or I mentor, always work the body early, chop that tree down, make the work easier in the later rounds. And that's exactly what Jake's doing here. And I think that these last three rounds will be a lot easier for him because of the invested time he's put into these body shots.
I think Medina may have sold me a little bit of a false bill of hope in terms of his fighting style. Another attempted liver shot. Would you consider him to be the typical Mexican boxer prototype? Because that's what he told me he was. I don't think I'm seeing it yet.
I don't see that. You know, I mean, he's up against a young, talented guy, and from the Mexicans that I've seen in my past, they'll at least go for broke, where he just seems to be content boxing, not getting knocked down, not getting knocked out, but also not attempting to win the fight.
I think he might just not even have an answer for that hand speed, like you said, Steve.
Absolutely, that's definitely a big part of it. And the body work that Jake Daoust has put in here early. And again, the foot and hand speed is night and day, and that's just something you can't compete with, and it's very frustrating.
Another left hook to the body lands for Jake Daoust.
He's off balance there.
Another good round for Daoust in the books here.
Three rounds into his pro debut, and he's got to be pretty happy. His trainer, Dwight Fraser's got to be pretty happy. He's boxed well. He hasn't tried to stand there and engage with Medina.
I asked Jake what made him finally decide to turn pro. Still a young guy, still, you know, I guess more you could do at the amateur level, although, you know, four-time Canadian champ is pretty damn good if you ask me. But he told me it was a funny story. He was in England on a vacation, decided to stop by Ricky Hitman Hatton's gym, went in, did a little workout. As soon as he left, he was with his mom in England. He walked out, told his mom, I'm calling my coach right now, I'm turning pro. And he called him that day. Decision made. It was just walking into that gym, something happened. There was some magic.
It's definitely a different vibe. You know, the amateur can be very political, and so can the pro game. Do not get me wrong, but it's just that more excitement of being on the professional stage and being a prize fighter, fighting for money, climbing the ladder to a world title, and that's what these young kids want here. And you know, that's why he turned pro.
We got a new Medina coming out here, letting his hands go at the start of round number 4.
We'll see if Jake can capitalize on the mistakes.
It's a little bit of a amateur style kind of open palm shot there, I think. I guess that's something that you have to work on as you continue to transition.
You know, Medina's just covering up. You know, he's just throwing shots, accumulation. Medina's got his hands up high. I think he's trying to pull that hand down like do the Lomachenko and pull his hand down and come with the overhand right. But if I'm in Jake Daoust's corner, I'm saying, listen, he's putting his hands up high, rip around those elbows to the body, use that left hook to the body, just like he did right there.
Now, Steve, a lot of talk about amateurs transitioning into the pros. We hear the term sit down on your punches. That's something that you have to learn. Can you explain that?
Absolutely. That was the biggest fault early in my pro career, is that I wasn't sitting down on my punches. Jake Daoust has Dwight Fraser, who's, you know, Dwight's a good puncher. He was a good puncher in his day as a professional and as an amateur. Jake's sitting down here on his punches. But it becomes very hard as an amateur. You're scoring for points to win a match. Here, you're fighting to knock out and to win. And they both exchange big shots there. Jake got the better of the two.
Medina has woken up here in round 4 of this 6-round contest. He feels like he might have hurt Daoust, and he's going for broke right now.
Still a minute left here in the 4th round. It's a lot of time.
Now we're seeing a little bit more of a prototypical Mexican fighter coming forward, letting his hands go with relentless pressure. This is what we were waiting for. His hand touches the canvas.
Medina's corner calling for the uppercut.
Daoust taking a couple of deep breaths here in round number 4. I'm sure the nerves early on take a lot of energy out of you, right, Steve?
Absolutely, and people do not take that into consideration. When your adrenaline's pumping, your heart's beating a million miles a minute, you're fighting for your first pro debut in front of your family and friends. You know what I mean? You're tired before the first bell even rings, let alone when you actually get in there with a tough, durable guy like Medina who's grabbing, holding, taking your shots. So hats off to Jake for stepping up in his pro debut, a 6th round against a tough veteran like Jose Medina, as he lands a big overhand right there.
A better round for Jose Abraham Medina, but I think it's pretty safe to say Daoust still easily in control of this bout.
Absolutely, 4 rounds to nothing, clear boxing from the outside, but Medina did get a little bit close to that round, landed some shots, tied up Jake.
Jake Daoust, Steve, owns an amateur win over a guy who I consider one of the best Canadian prospects out there right now, Lexin Mathieu. Mathieu doing excellently as a pro, and he will be fighting Ryan Young on March 14th. Ryan Young heading to enemy territory in Montreal at the casino. I cannot wait for that fight. This is a year where we're coming off of some fantastic Canada versus Canada matchups, and it looks like we'll be seeing a lot more here in 2020. This is what the sport needs.
Absolutely, I mean, see who's the best in the country, then represent our country on the international stage.
Lexin has since moved up to 168. Daoust said if he wants to come down and meet him at 160, hell, why not? Let's scrap it out. I don't think that'll be happening. Lexin's a very thick 168.
Oh, good counter shot by Medina there.
Sneaky counter too, right over the right hand of Jake Daoust. Jake's still got to be careful because Medina has that slippery kind of tendency where he all of a sudden explodes, lets his hands go after he lulls you into this.
And like we said earlier, he doesn't have to be here. He wants to be here. He wants to come here and win. Yeah, he started off the early round slow, but you know, he was wearing this young, hungry, excited kid who's fighting his pro debut down here. And you know, at the start of this round, he's showing some hard, clean shots and landing good against Jake Daoust. And I think that he knows his only chance is to catch Jake coming in because he cannot outbox him. He cannot counter punch him. He's got to catch Jake coming in. And he did here earlier in this round.
Medina's nicknamed the Soldier, went to a prestigious military school in Mexico City. He said it instilled in him the pride of his country. Nice right hand, lands right on the chin for Medina. Doesn't seem to phase Daoust. I like what I see out of Daoust's chin so far. Nice quick jab from Jake Daoust. I'd like to see more of that.
I don't think Jake's going to put this guy away with one shot. I think it would be volumes of punches. So I'd like to see him pump that double jab, throw the right hand, maybe a left hook upstairs or down. It's going to be a combination and accumulation that brings Medina to want to quit or give up. It's not going to be one shot.
1 minute left here in round number 5. Nice work against the ropes. Medina looking to sneak a shot right inside those punches that Jake Daoust was throwing against the ropes. Daoust did a few years of dance, just like Vasil Lomachenko. Said it really helped with his overall rhythm in the sport.
And he's a very fluid fighter. You can see him in there. He's very fluid with his jabs, rolling out, slipping shots, countering.
Medina looking for a big body shot there.
But let me tell you this, Jason, it's very tough to fight a guy like Medina who's just so awkward, throws shots out of nowhere.
Great test for Jake Daoust in a pro debut. You're absolutely right. He's throwing shots from all angles as he kind of lunges in. And you know, he's caught Daoust with a couple of nice shots here and there. He got him with a nice body shot right there.
If I'm part of Jake Daoust's team, this is a great pro debut. This is a great building experience and a great learning curve for him to fight a tough guy like Medina for 6 rounds. Get that experience in. That's 10 times better for me, in my eyes, than a first round knockout.
Couldn't agree more, Steve. heading into the 6th and final round of Jake Daoust's pro debut, what are you telling Jake Daoust in the corner right now heading into the final round?
Just keep doing what you're doing. Maybe try to catch him with a body shot and see if you can put him down, but don't take anything for risk. Like I said, Medina's here to win. He may go for broke here in the last round. Jake Daoust has won every single round of this fight. All he's got to do is keep boxing from the outside and taking him to school and be victorious on his pro debut here tonight. Not take any chances.
Both fighters touch him up. Round number 6, 6th and final round. Jake Daoust in the black and orange. Jose Abraham Medina in the blue and gold. Just a reminder, I've got the Canadian kid, Steve Molitor, sitting next to me. I'm Jason Tufexis, calling these fights with all of you guys tonight. Great learning experience here for Jake Daoust as he gets his first 6 rounds in and lands a nice body shot.
And credit to Dwight Fraser and Jake's whole team. This is the 6th round. That's a lot coming from the amateurs. His conditioning is good. His punches are fast, clean, and hard here in the 6th and final round. So hats off to Dwight, Jake, and his whole team for his performance here tonight.
Both fighters back in the center of the ring. Medina with his usual odd explosions coming out of seemingly nowhere. I think Daoust might have hurt him a little bit with that body shot. I don't think he liked that.
Usually when a fighter puts their hand down on you, that means that they felt it and they heard it and they didn't like it.
You can see a nice check hook as Daoust giving an example of his footwork prowess.
One thing I'd like to see Jake change and maybe look for, and hopefully he can hear this broadcast in his next fight. He's jabbing and throwing combos, but his mouth is open the whole time. I've noticed that, and that's just so dangerous to get a jaw injury. And once you get a jaw injury in this game, they never go away. Aside from that, he's boxed beautifully tonight. Used that jab, used his speed, used his amateur pedigree to win a 6-round sweep unanimous decision over Jose Medina in my eyes. 1 minute left in the 6th and final round.
Got a lot of exciting possible matchups in the future for a guy like Jake Daoust. Canada's always been big at producing guys at 160 and 168. A little bit more rare to get featherweights and junior featherweights, especially at a high level like yourself, my friend.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, the lightest guy we got, I guess, is Josh O'Reilly, and he's still 10 or 15 pounds heavier than I was back in my day.
Medina talking on the inside.
He's a durable guy. He comes here to put on a show. I won't be surprised if we see him again. And this is, again, like we said earlier, a great test with 10 seconds left here in the 6th and final round. A great test and a great performance by Jake Daoust against tough Jose Medina.
Excellent uppercut landed in that final part of the final round here in round number 6. Great fight for Jake Daoust. Excellent performance. Steve, aside from maybe keeping your mouth closed, what other advice do you have for Jake Daoust moving forward?
For his pro debut against a tough guy like Medina, he boxed very, very, very well. I'm not trying to criticize him. I'd maybe like to see a little bit more body work and a few more angles, but again, a guy for his pro debut fighting a guy like Medina, he boxed very, very well. 6 rounds to nothing, hands down. Great boxing, great hand speed, great endurance. Hats off to Jake Daoust and his team. Hit it very well. Very good pro debut here tonight.
.160, a pretty red-hot division here in Canada, as I mentioned. Brandon Cook fighting tonight will be at 154, but Sukhdeep Singh Chakria up at 160 here in Ontario. All around that, 154 to 168, we got guys all across Canada that are
lots of
ready
action,
to scrap it
lots
up.
of hometown guys, lots of provincial rivals, lots of country rivals, lots of things on the horizon for a lot of these guys.
Send it over to Patrick Lono for the official decision. I could see one round, not sure I could see two in this case.
No, I definitely, maybe one as a gift to the traveling Mexican, but nonetheless, Jake Daoust victorious in his pro debut, boxed well, 6 rounds. Hats off to him and his team. I look forward to seeing him again in the ring.
Well, Steve, we mentioned before United Promotions has been making a big push at taking some of the elite amateurs from Ontario, signing them to contracts, and having them fight here at the CAA Center. We're